Morning and welcome to Stitch to Resist. So I'm just here today to give you a little bit of background information to support the practical video of Stitch to Resist, where we went through some embroidery. My name is Jeni Roddy and I'm a visual artist and costume designer, and I work for the Wexford Arts Centre. So the first thing I want to go through here is there's a nice picture here of some bone needles. These are about 25,000 years old, and I just wanted to give you an idea of how long people have been stitching for. So obviously when stitchwork started out, it was very much a practical thing, sewing together hide, keeping people clothed, keeping people warm. These are 12,000 years old, actually, these particular bone needles from France. This is an example of some early embroidery work. This one's from the Northern Territories in China, and in the centre here we have a depiction of Pegasus, so the winged horse from Greek mythology, and it's on a silk background. And I just wanted to, I suppose, draw attention to the change that developed as culture and society developed. So did embroidery and more decorative work. And so next, this is kind of coming on to the theme or topic of our workshop, which is Stitch to Resist. So this piece of needlework was produced by Mary Queen of Scots, who was the sister of Queen Elizabeth I. And I suppose during the period of the Tudor and Elizabethan period, there would have been a very set idea of what emblems were metaphors for. So, so this particular emblem here in the middle is a picture of a phoenix, and Mary Queen of Scots, who had been imprisoned by her sister when Elizabeth came to the throne. This was due to Mary's possible claim to the throne, and also her religion. She was a Catholic and Elizabeth was a Protestant. And so Mary, in order to show in a quite a subtle way her resistance to the position that she was being put in by being imprisoned by her sister, created this very interesting piece of needlework, which has the phoenix, which is a bird which is supposed to do with regeneration. It's a bird that gets rebirthed. So using this was quite a powerful thing for Mary to say. So this particular icon is was unusually used by Mary again. That, you know, shows that she meant something with it rather than just using it in its traditional usage or traditional sense. And so just an example of how an individual has chosen the stitchwork to portray some sort of a resistance to the position that they've been put into. This is just a picture where I wanted to talk about, I suppose, the revolution that happened in the 1850s with the bringing in of the sewing machine. So it's a changeover from hand stitching and needlework into more mass-produced work, and it's just a whole revolution really happened in stitching. There was a lot in it to do with you know, women and labour. So women who were working in changed over from doing piecework by hand into piecework in factory settings. So part of the Industrial Revolution, and it's a huge switchover in the tradition of sewing. So again, we're moving very, very quickly forward. So we're jumping in leaps and bounds through eras here. But this is a piece of work which is called an arpillera, and it comes from Chile. And in 1973, General Pinochet overtook in a coup the standing government that were in Chile, who were democratically elected. And a lot of people protested, and unfortunately at the time a lot of people were taken and went missing. So women began to produce these pieces of needlework. So these are embroidered appliqué pieces with embroidery on them. And they showed the women who were left behind. So you can see these are family members, and in the middle these little silhouetted empty forms here have stitching in the middle which show names, and that's of the men who had gone missing. This is another example. So this is in a domestic setting, another arpillera, and we see here that there is a question mark and a picture up here of a missing man. This is quite a common way to depict somebody who had gone missing. So at a table setting with an empty chair. So this is the dinner party. It's a piece by Judy Chicago, so contemporary to what was happening down in Chile. Judy Chicago produced this piece up in Northern America, and completely different reason for her using embroidery, but I think interestingly, again, it shows how it was used, how embroidery was used to show some sort of, again, resistance to some sort of social or a political problem. So this particular one was, Judy Chicago produced this piece with over 1,000 names on it of women who would have been very important figures in history. And she has these pieces here are ceramic tableware, and then each is a place setting here, and embroidered on the place settings are individuals' names of these very important women. So she was thinking, I suppose, about when she produced the piece about the overarching patriarchy that she found in the art world and also in society. And she was thinking about the Last Supper with Jesus Christ and his 12 apostles, and how every member of that supper had been a man. And then again, her experience in these kind of both academic and art institutions which were dominated by men, when she attended evening soirees and dinner parties. So she wanted to address this and redress it in some way. A few hundred women were involved in producing this piece of work, so voluntarily, and it took 5 years to make. Just a detail there, so you can see a little bit closer up one of the place settings with the stitchwork on it. So you can see that says fertile goddess there. So there's a lot to do with, like I said, important figures, female figures in history. This is the detail here from a piece of work by Frances Crowe. She's an artist, tapestry artist from Roscommon, and wanted to just show us, an artist from Ireland. There's plenty of amazing textile artists in Ireland who are using stitchwork regularly in their work. But this particular one just drew my attention, I suppose, because I had been looking at the arpilleras in Chile, and this tapestry work is called Disappeared. So there's a series of them, and I contacted Frances to find out what was behind them. She told me a story of having worked with some Syrian refugees and learning of relations, children who had gone missing during the Syrians fleeing from their country. And the story really touched her heart, so she produced this work thinking about human displacement. So again, just how stitching, needlework, can be used to depict some sort of, again, we'll use the word resistance to the to a social inequity, and often there's personal stories behind all of them as well. This is just a larger view of one of the pieces. So you can see there's, I think it's an acetate that's in there behind with a drawing against the wall. And then in front there are some filaments that are used in a vertical lines here. So these are the Weft. I was told she used a fishing line and then nylon threads to produce the work. There's a metal frame around the outside here. And a very spare kind of piece of work. And quite beautiful depiction, quite moving depiction, I find it, of this theme. So I hope that gives a little bit of background just to, support the other video which has the practical work in it. So if you want to find any other videos from us, just check out the Wexford Arts Centre and the InSight Education Programme, and we'll have lots of videos on there to share with you. Thank you.